Hi everyone, welcome to the channel.
Hello.
So this is Tim and Kat's Green Walk in case you're new here. So this is going to be a slightly different video to what we normally do. Probably a bit self-indulgent if I'm honest. We're not going to really cover any of our tech or anything like that because I realised the other day that YouTube informed me that we'd done 99 videos on the channel. So this is our 100th video that we've been basically running for
A couple of years?
2 years.
Yeah.
August 2022 put the first video out.
Yeah, so just over our 2-year anniversary and 100 videos. That
Yeah.
feels like a milestone we should at least
Acknowledge, if nothing
Yeah.
else. So we thought, yeah, we'll take a little bit of break from the usual content and just chat about the channel a little bit. Give you a bit of a behind the scenes look at you know, some of the stuff that's happened in the past, some of our plans for the future, and other things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've written some notes, basically just a few little topics of conversation, and yeah.
Yeah, I've got some questions to ask Tim.
Yeah.
Since obviously I pop up on here for little sofa chats every now and then.
Yeah.
Otherwise I am more behind the scenes, and obviously Tim is much more the face of Green Walk.
Yeah, so ostensibly it was our channel because we wanted to share the stuff we've been doing with the house and all that. We'll get into that in a little bit in a second. But yeah, Kat's got her own YouTube channel. For those who aren't familiar, she's got a channel called, what is it?
Catkin and Lily. So it's all about cross stitch.
Yeah, you may see some of the items in the
yeah,
background
a
there.
few things there.
Yeah, Kat does cross stitch as a hobby, and she shares that on YouTube as well. And she's very rapidly catching this channel up in terms of number of subscribers. And I very much suspect she's going to overtake this channel sometime next year, is my prediction. So we shall see about that. I'm quite happy for that to be the case. We're not in competition.
I'm shocked, but
yeah,
very happy.
but yeah, it's all good. So yeah, should we crack on with my list of questions?
Well, I think really you've touched on the first thing that we were going to talk about, which is why did we start this?
Yeah, so we moved into this house 3 years ago, just over 3 years ago, and it was the ideal opportunity. The roof was nicely aligned and big enough that we could get some solar panels, and I've wanted solar panels for a long time, many years. We've not really had the opportunity to do it, but this house has got an east and a west roof ridge like that, so we could get panels on both sides. So I thought it was the perfect opportunity. So I was looking around YouTube, looking for what, you know, if there were any other YouTube channels covering this sort of stuff, and just doing research on like batteries and stuff like that. And I came across a channel called the EV Puzzle. Many of you probably are already aware of this channel. Nigel from the EV Puzzle was sharing his experiences of adding solar panels and battery systems, and yeah, he was very honest and detailed with his description of what he was doing to the house. And I thought, you know what, this was really useful to see those videos, his experiences.
Yeah.
Maybe it would be useful to contribute as well by doing the same thing. So
Yeah.
you know, essentially doing what he was doing, but in our own style and covering our own journey. So yeah, that was really the inspiration for it.
I think we thought it would be nice to document the process as well.
Yeah.
And I think because you'd been keen to do this, and having moved into a new house that we knew we were going to be here, or at least hope the plan was to be here for a significant amount of time,
Yeah.
that was the opportunity to really get stuck in and do as much as we possibly could, and therefore to document that for us to look back on and to share our experience, because I think we've learnt that actually there is nothing beats that. Nothing beats actually hearing from people about having gone through all these things and done the things,
exactly.
and what you've learnt, because you really don't learn all of it until you go through it.
No, there's nothing like first-hand experience, and obviously there's only so much we can describe in our experience. So you know, even then, like we can't explain all of the pitfalls and everything else. So, but I hope we've done a reasonable job of showing the basics and, you know, some of the more nitty-gritty details as and when appropriate. You know, I think yeah, as Kat said, just documenting it for our own records as much as anything. I mean, we weren't really expecting to get a big audience at all, really. The fact that we're rapidly approaching 10,000 subs now, which is incredible, honestly, amazing. Thank you very much for all of those who are subscribed. And if you're not already subscribed, please do consider doing so. Yeah, and I think right at the very beginning we didn't have any of the equipment installed, but I did have one idea for a video which I thought might be useful because it was coming up to, well, it was August, so we didn't have the heating on, but we did obviously have gas running our hot water. And I noticed that we were using quite a bit of gas for our hot water, and I thought, well, is there any way I can tinker with the settings just to reduce the amount of gas we were using for our hot water? So I just did a quick video based on some experiments that I'd done that helped us reduce our gas usage, and I just chucked that up on the channel without much effort, really.
Because you reduced the gas usage by...
Well, it's 30%.
Yeah, 30%. And we thought, well, this might help people. That was really the goal of the video was, well, gosh, we've saved a lot of money, and it was quite expensive at the time, so... oh, maybe people can benefit from this. Yeah, so I just shared that amongst family and friends in the first instance, and yeah, it started, modest views, and then it just started going like that. I mean, literally an exponential curve. It was mad, and within about 2 or 3 weeks, I was getting 40,000 views a day on that video, which was just ridiculous and completely overwhelming. Actually, the number of comments we got was insane. I think the term baptism of fire is probably
honestly, people say
about right.
People long for viral videos, but honestly it's a double-edged sword, because it did get the channel noticed. I got a lot of subscribers very quickly. I was able to join the YouTube partner program almost immediately, which was great because it meant that I could control what adverts were shown and stuff like that. Yeah, but it was it was extremely overwhelming. Yeah. So
I think we probably don't need to go into them, but the comments, the amount of comments, and some of the comments, I don't think people need to know that. But yeah, you don't really realise quite what you're going to get into. So just for reference, I was looking just now. That video has now had 540,000 views. Since it was published 2 years ago. So suffice it to say, we've not had any videos close to that. That's fine. But that wasn't really the sort of topic I really wanted to talk about in the first place. So I struggled a little bit to try and transition away from that in the early days towards what I did want to talk about, which was the solar panels and the batteries and the air-to-air heat pump system and all that other good green tech stuff. Because we no longer have gas, obviously, anymore. So no, not even relevant.
That was sort of the whole point of the process. So.
But it did get the channel started.
It did get that channel started
in a fairly big way.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I don't regret doing that video, but yeah, it really was. it was scary to experience that as the first video that we put out. Actually, it wasn't the first video I put on the channel. I did do a couple of pond videos right at the beginning, just as a test.
Funnily enough, not so popular.
No, they got a couple hundred views. That's fine.
That really was just testing. I was going to say testing the waters. Yeah. Pun wasn't intended, but there we go.
Maybe I'll do some more pond videos.
Yes.
Coming up. But,
yeah. So. If that was the most popular video by quite a long way, but you've talked more about the sort of videos you did want to create. What do you think's been the most helpful or useful videos? What are the ones that you're particularly proud of and think these are really good, useful videos? I think some of the more so probably one of the most useful ones that I've done was actually a little while ago when I did the tour of the house with the air-to-air heat pump system. That I'm just looking at this now. Back on this, that's on 32,000 views, which is one of the more popular videos, and it still gets views now. I think I probably need to do an updated version, maybe, just to bump it back to show people who are new to the channel what that's all about, because I do get asked a lot of questions about the air-to-air system. Still, and people come up to us when we were at shows and stuff like have asked us about
like Everything Electric back in when was that? Earlier in the summer anyway. People were asking us about that and saying how it was really good to see that video that we did back in the day. So maybe I need to do an updated version of that. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'm perfectly happy to do that, especially because it's coming into autumn now and it's more likely that we're going to be running the heating and stuff. So that was definitely one of the more useful ones. And more recently as well, I think I've been thinking more about what would be more useful generally. So, for example, people ask me questions often in the comments, and I think to myself, well, actually this would be useful to turn into a video because it's a comment I get often and I have to answer the same comment over and over. And I don't mind doing that, but obviously if I can then make that into a video for that people can, I can literally just say, oh, go and watch this video, it's got all the details in it, that's more useful. So things like...
And if people are asking questions in the comments, you can guarantee there are way more people out there thinking about that question as well.
Yeah, so for example, the topic of what export tariffs are available for a particular import tariff if you're with Octopus Energy, which is who we're with. So there's quite a number of different combinations you can get with the import and the export tariffs. So some people weren't aware of this, so I just went through that. That was quite an easy one to do, simple but useful, I think. And I think probably the single most useful video I've done recently was my sort of tariff choice rule of thumb video, which it occurred to me that obviously there's a lot of these complicated smart tariffs now with Octopus Energy, and people ask me all the time, oh, what's the best tariff to be on? And it's not really straightforward to answer that, because everybody's situation is different. Their lifestyles are different, their consumption, the amount of solar they've got, the batteries and all that other stuff. So and I was lying in bed one night thinking, oh, there's got to be an easy way to do this, like a really simple thing that anybody can do without a really complicated calculation. So I thought it through in my head, and I was thinking, well, if you make a couple of very simple assumptions about how to run your system, actually you can boil it down to just those two numbers, your generation and your consumption. That's it, that's all you need. And then the whole rule of thumb tariff video fell out of that. And I think has been incredibly useful. My idea was that it's better to get 90% of the people a good enough answer rather than giving 10% of the people the best answer.
Yeah.
Because
often it's very close anyway. You're talking...
a few pounds a month or something. Yeah. So yeah, maybe it's not absolutely optimal.
But it's going to be very, very close.
It will be, at least you're not on the worst tariff. And
you can find out really easily as well. Not everyone has the time or the inclination to get really into the weeds of it all, and to have that really quick kind of, oh, okay, I know those numbers really quick, I can figure that out, that gives me an answer. Yeah, just being able to do that really quickly, I think, is hugely valuable to people.
Yeah, I think I'm really pleased with that video, and actually, in some respects, it's the video that keeps on giving, because every time Octopus change the tariffs, I have to do an update version. So there's another video to put out on the channel and so on. So it means I'm never going to run out of videos to do.
No, but they're all going to be.
It's always the same one.
But they're all going to be videos on tariffs. I think we might need to.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk more about that in a minute.
Mix that up a bit as well.
So those are the sorts of useful ones. Trying to make. So I know I do a lot of spreadsheet videos. I'm trying not to do so many. Like doing this video here with us sat on the sofa, I think it's really good because it just mixes it up a little bit and it's a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
But I know some people really like the spreadsheet videos.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to do them. I enjoy them to a point. But yeah.
I think they're a useful update that hopefully doesn't take too long. You've got it down pretty sorted in terms of your workflow for those, and I do think they're useful.
Yeah, so what else we got here?
Well, you've got least popular videos. I don't think you should talk about your least popular video.
Oh, come on. Yeah, well, we can't talk about the most popular without... Well, we haven't talked about the most popular ones. We talked about my gas video, which was crazy
popular.
But some other more popular videos. The one in second place, actually, is us two in our kitchen turning things on and off to see how much power they use. And
this always makes me laugh. The idea that a video of us walking around the kitchen, well, actually it's a video of me, Tim's mostly videoing me, walking around the kitchen, turning on appliances and turning them off again, just to see...
Well, this was before we even had the battery and solar system installed, because we were sort of thinking, how will this change the way we operate? And the short answer is it shouldn't really change. Like I get some people saying, you can optimize things by running things in sequence if you don't want to draw power from the grid. Well, we just don't bother. We just run what we want to run
because it's pence.
Yeah, and
it's so little. Honestly, it's not worth the brain power to think about.
No.
Oh, should I not turn this on at the same time as this because the battery won't be able to cover it?
You enjoy doing that. Fiddle your boots.
Absolutely.
But we don't bother. But that video is on 50,000 views. Can't believe it.
I think
50,000 views.
Yeah.
Yeah, and similarly, our little road trip that we took. So when we took our car over to our Cat's Fiat 500e, we took a road trip over to see a friend. His 40th, was it?
I think so.
I think, yeah, a friend's 40th over in Norwich. So we were in Gloucestershire. So it was like a 3.5-hour drive or something.
So it was a long one. We knew we'd got to do charging
We'd
stops.
never done public charging. We thought it would be a great opportunity to just plug the, take the camera, video it,
just document,
just to see our experience. And it was just the sort of comments we got are split more or less evenly between a lot of people saying, "Oh, that doesn't look too much hassle at all. Looks fine." I would agree, it wasn't really. No. And then other people saying, "Oh man, that just looks like such a pain. Why would you bother?" And we're like, well, I mean, I think people tend to see what they want to see in some respects.
It definitely shows that. So, we definitely didn't think it was any bother.
No.
But there we go.
But that's on 39,000 views. That's our third most popular. No, sorry, not.
I think EVs are a hot topic, so I guess in that respect, that one surprises me a lot less than going around turning on appliances in the kitchen, because I think EVs are generally a bit more of a hot topic.
Yeah, it did bring out a lot of the anti-EV crowd, which I find hilarious, because why are you watching videos about EVs if you're dead against EVs? I think they just do it because they want to shout at somebody. But
I don't know. It seems like I wouldn't watch videos on something I don't like. But there we go. We're all different.
What can you do? Anyway, some of them are rude, some of them are not. Some of them just don't understand.
Yeah. EVs. There's a lot to learn, and we're still learning about EVs. So
there'll probably be more EV videos coming up, because we're thinking, we did a video recently about EVs, which I think has gone down pretty well. We'll probably document our decision-making process for when we replace Cat's current EV with a new one, and I'll be replacing my car in due course as well. So there's all that coming at some point in the future.
Absolutely. Are you going to do least popular then?
Yes, I will do least popular. Aww. So other than the aforementioned pond videos, which I really want to do another pond video, because the pond has come on in leaps and bounds over the last couple of years since we.
I'm not sure if it relates to the channel, but the pond does look amazing.
It's really nice. It's the best thing we've ever done. Better than the solar panels, better than the battery, better than it's so good. Honestly, I love the pond.
But when's it going to pay for itself?
It's not going to pay for itself. So the running joke is about, and obviously, finance is very important.
It is.
A lot of people ask me, and I've mentioned it many times in the past. Our primary reason for getting all this stuff was not financial, really.
Well, it is, but in a different way than what people think.
Yes. So the idea is we want to reduce our overall running costs to as low as possible, so that we can retire early, basically.
And there's a security then in knowing, well, this is what our outgoings are, and they're not very high.
Yeah.
Having done all the paying for it up front.
Yeah, exactly. Because
which obviously is a bit of a luxury to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. But our main requirement was to reduce our energy consumption, reduce our carbon footprint, and at the same time reduce our bills as far as possible. So that was it. But a lot of people. I obviously do a lot of videos where I talk about the finances, because
it is important.
Honestly, that's what most people
about it, but
that's what most people are interested in, and I do not blame you at all. That is absolutely valid, and you can tell, because when I do similar videos, one concentrating on the financials, one concentrating on the environmental aspect, the financial one beats the environmental one hands down every single time. Yeah. So I did two spreadsheet videos back to back. One was running the heat pump overnight to see if it would reduce the running costs, which it does. Go back and watch that video if you're interested in that. Very interesting. I was a skeptic initially until I did some did very complicated spreadsheet. Discovered that actually it genuinely was better to do that, and it resulted in us drawing less peak power from the grid, which is great. And then I did a follow-up video which was about whether it was actually greener to do it that way as well, concentrating on the carbon impact. And once again, yes, it is greener to run your heat pump overnight during the off-peak period. So it's both cheaper and greener.
Yeah, win-win.
Win-win. But the environmental one, despite the fact that it was only half the length of the financial one, got half the number of views. So So it's funny. I'm sure the audience is split roughly, evenly between those who are more interested in the financials and those who are more interested in the green stuff. But the financial videos definitely get more views. So if you're of the more towards the environmental side of things, that's why I do the financial videos, just so you're aware.
It's both really important concerns for people, to be honest, because people are generally concerned about the environment and would like to do these things for the environment. And not that many people are necessarily in a position where they can just throw money at it for the environment.
No, absolutely.
It's not realistic to expect people to do that. And therefore the financial elements do come into it.
Yeah.
But yes, we do hear the, when will it pay for itself?
Yeah, and that's
a lot.
That's fine.
It's totally valid, but we do joke about it a little bit, hence the comment about the pond.
Yeah. Yes, true. Yeah. But the other interesting video, I thought it was a really interesting video, but nobody watched it. Was one of my personal reasons for wanting to get rid of gas in the first place, aside from the fact that we wanted to reduce our environmental impact, was I have a very real existential threat from gas because I can't smell it. I can't smell much at all. In fact, I can't smell hardly anything. No. I have a condition called anosmia, which is lack of sense of smell.
For all your life?
For all my life. And before you say anything, please don't ask me what my sense of taste is like, because that's the first thing that everybody asks me. And I can tell you right now, so far as I can tell, it's just fine. I still enjoy my food as well as everybody. And I know no different anyway, so I wouldn't be able to tell you how it compares. It's not like when you get COVID or whatever and you lose your sense of smell and therefore you lose your taste. It makes no difference to me. So, but as far as wanting to get rid of gas is concerned, I would joke with people that the most likely cause of my death would be a gas explosion, because I say joke, morbid humour and all that. Yes. But if I was to walk into the house and Kat wasn't here and there'd been a gas leak and I turned on a light, I'd be gone. So I'm very pleased with getting rid of gas from that perspective alone, let alone the environmental side of things. So, but nobody watched that. Just out of interest, I say nobody, not many.
I mean, a few people watched it.
It is the least popular video aside from the pond videos. Let me see. 1,500 views in like a year and a half. So,
well,
I'll put it in the description. Go give it a watch if you're interested. It's only 7 minutes. I mean,
well, you've talked about it now.
I know. I just say the same thing in that video.
It's kind of spoilers, really, isn't it? We've sort of covered it, but I don't think that video needs to be watched necessarily.
No, don't bother.
There are more useful videos.
No, don't bother watching that video. Watch the pond videos. So yeah. So that's my least popular one. Oh, and the other one that hasn't done super well is when I talked about compost. I really wanted to talk about my compost, but again, only 1,500 views. That's fine. It's not my core topic, honestly. So I don't blame anybody for not watching that.
He does make amazing compost.
It's really good.
It is very good compost.
Given how little effort I put into it, it's spectacularly good compost for how little effort I put in.
Yes.
And that was sort of the point. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
Well, how about you? What's your favourite video? Have you got a favourite video or a favourite moment?
Well, I think we've covered it's that video with us going round the kitchen, turning things on and off, and the favourite thing that made both of us laugh from that video, it was a comment. And
more than one comment, actually. Multiple comments.
I think only a few people mentioned. And so the video was, we were talking about making breakfast and what things you would turn on at that point, and in the evening,
putting the oven on.
Dinner. So we took a kind of fictional meal that we might cook, and we said we might
make a very real meal.
We probably do this very often.
Yes,
but we weren't making it at the actual time.
No.
And that we would make a lasagna and pop that in the oven, and that we might have the microwave on doing some peas, and that we would potentially have the Actifry on doing some chips.
Yeah.
And apparently that was controversial, having chips with lasagna.
Yeah.
Like
shocker. So
the double carbs.
Double carbs. My response
care.
my response to those comments was, well, have you never been in a pub and seen lasagna and chips on the menu? And some people were like, no, never seen that. Honestly,
I've never been in a pub.
like, if it doesn't come with chips, it comes with garlic bread.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with double carbs?
I mean, I get that some people choose not to have that. That's absolutely fine.
Sure.
But
it's really nice, though.
it's just so nice. Lasagna and chips, it's a classic pub staple. And it's very tasty.
Super tasty.
So anyway.
So yeah, a little bit
was
behind the scenes that you probably don't realise when people make YouTube videos, and us, well, me in particular, because I get very anxious about what comments I'm going to get. So there's always something I've missed. So after that initial video where it completely overwhelmed me with the number of comments I got about stuff that I wasn't even covering, and people were just shouting at me for all sorts of reasons. I'm not going to go into it now, but I try really carefully with every video I do to cover all of the important things that I think, right, somebody's going to ask about this, so I'm going to try and cover this particular topic. And I always think, right, I get to the end of the video, recording it, editing it, and I think, right, and I upload it, and I think, right, what's the thing that I've missed in this video that's going to be controversial? And
because there's always something.
And there's always something. I honestly, every time I think, yes, I've got it this time. There's nothing controversial in this video. Everyone's going to be like, yeah, brilliant, you've covered everything. Every single time there's something. There's always something. Somebody will say...
And you have to laugh at it, otherwise it would...
yeah. So I'm like, oh, what is it? What's it going to be this time? So, yeah, that particular one, that came out of absolute left field. I had no idea that lasagna and chips was going to be the controversial part of that video.
No. Well, we still haven't worked out what will ever be the controversial part. It's always something you haven't thought of. That's just what happens, and it's kind of funny playing the game of waiting to see what will be the thing that people pick up on that you just had no idea was going to come up.
There's always something.
Yeah.
Always something.
Yeah. So yeah, behind the scenes.
So just so you know.
Yeah. In case you're ever thinking of running a YouTube channel.
Yeah. Beware of the unexpected controversial topics.
Or run a channel about cross stitch, because so far, very little controversy.
You've had one or two, not many.
Very few.
Yeah.
Very few.
So anyway, that's...
So I think that was, yes, maybe not favourite videos, but favourite moments. And maybe we need to put in here as well, favourite things about, not specifically videos, but about running the channel.
Yeah.
Because there's one really big one, I think. Well, there's two things, I think. One of which we've mentioned earlier, which is people coming up to us at some shows and when we've been out and about and saying hi, which is just really nice. We've really enjoyed meeting some of you that have said hello.
Yeah, it's really nice.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And also then getting to know a few other YouTube channels and the guys who run those YouTube channels and having our little sort of community of
support group.
Support group, yes. But YouTubers, so I don't know, do you want to shout out our friends?
Yeah, so our YouTube pals, some of you probably already follow their channels, but if you don't, go and check them out. Gary from Gary Does Solar, probably one of the foremost experts in solar and battery technology. Such a nice guy. Researches his videos so thoroughly. Learn a lot from him. And he doesn't live too far from us, so we've met up with him a couple of times. Ollie from Speak to the Geek, very funny guy. His videos are always super polished. He puts so much effort into them, and you can really tell. He talks about a lot more than just green tech. He's into the home automation with Home Assistant and other stuff like that.
Yeah.
And also Dan EV Solar, he doing a similar thing to us, documenting his journey with EVs and solar and battery stuff. Got to know him through the channel, just through commenting on each other's videos. Such a nice guy. We've met his family as well. Lovely people. So he's recently had a new baby, so he's taken a little bit of a break from
he said
YouTube.
He's ready to get back into it now.
So yeah, go check out his channel. He'll be bringing out loads more videos as well. And we watch a bunch of others. Like I'm sure a bunch of you already watch things like EV Man, Mr. EV, obviously Nigel from the EV Puzzle. Who else do we watch? Upside Down Fork recently. He's been covering his Northwest array, which interests me a lot because that's something we're thinking of. The only viable bit of roof that we've got left is our north facing roof, so keeping an eye on that one just out of interest. You never know, we might start covering some of that in the future, maybe.
Maybe.
I've covered that a little bit in a past video, but yeah, that's still on the cards. Who else do we watch? There's probably a bunch of others that we're forgetting about. Anyway,
I feel like that's the main ones.
Those are kind of the main ones.
But I think really, you know, shouting out the community of people out there, and in particular the guys that we've had the good fortune to meet and get to know, because it's just been really lovely. And I think for me that has been a real highlight of doing this. Yeah,
and actually, you know what? Running the channel meant that we got a better system than we probably would have done otherwise. So when we first started investigating this stuff and I was explaining the decisions we were making, some people were saying, oh, how about this? And I'd be like, oh, that's actually a really good point. So as a concrete example, I think we were spec'd to have a Gen 1 hybrid inverter from GivEnergy, and people were saying, oh, the Gen 2 inverter's better. So I spoke to my installer and I said, oh, could we switch it for a Gen 2?
It was quite new at that point, wasn't it?
It was quite new at the time, yeah. And absolutely, that was a brilliant excuse me, that was absolutely the right decision. The Gen 2 inverter was a lot better. So yeah, thanks for the people who make those sorts of comments. I never regret looking into things that people suggest.
No, they've even suggested, I'm going to leave it for another time, but a very small micro car when we were talking about cars.
Oh yeah,
there was one suggested for us. You going to tell them what it is, or shall?
Oh, what was it called now? The yo-yo?
Yeah, I can't remember who makes it. But it was pointed out to us, and so we went and had a little look, and very interesting option.
We might feature that.
Interesting option.
So I'm thinking. So we did a video recently about small sort of city and super mini sized cars, because that's our preference. But I also love the concept of micro cars, and like I don't know whether or not we would ever get one, but I just love the concept. I think that's a brilliant idea. So maybe we'll do a micro car video if anyone's curious to know what the options are. Give us a shout if that's the sort of thing you're interested in. But yeah. So
yes, really grateful for suggestions and things. It does.
And actually that in fact that small car videos, some people mentioned a number of cars that I'd for some bizarre reason just completely neglected.
There you go. You see, there's always something.
Like the
something we've missed.
Like BMW i3. Completely forgot about that one.
I'm sure we'd talked about that as well. I don't know how we missed that one.
Yeah, there was another one as well.
Because I'm quite sure we'd had it in our brains, but it didn't make it to the video.
There was a couple of other really obvious ones that I'd missed, but anyway, it
happens.
It happens.
So yes, we're always grateful for comments and suggestions that can point us in the direction of other things to look at that we might not have considered.
Yep. So, well, maybe that brings us on to other plans for the future. What do you think?
Yes. Well, I think we've talked a lot about plans because it feels like we've done a lot to the house. We've done, and you might think we've done everything that could be done. So the
last piece of the puzzle was the Mixergy IHP, for which I've still got several videos planned that I'll be drip feeding into the channel over the next coming months, in amongst all the other content. So there's still more for that to come. But once that's done,
you would think we've done everything, but
are we finished then?
Well,
are we done?
I mean, considering you've just mentioned potential for north roof solar panels, might give you the idea that we might not be done, and I'm not sure Tim will ever be actually done.
It's funny because watching EV Puzzle, he's recently put some panels in his garden. We don't have room for that, unfortunately. I would love to do that. People have mentioned solar fences in the past. That reminds me about Anthony. He's got a channel. Oh, I can't remember the channel name.
Oh no! Yes. While you do, I was like the other thing. Obviously,
one moment
you could think about it would be wind turbines, which
Gary's done a great video on that.
Gary did a fantastic video on that. Not really an option, but you never know for the future. Maybe that's something.
Anthony Dyer, that's another good channel to watch. He does some really interesting videos. So go check him out as well.
So you never know. Never say never to a wind turbine.
No, we're not getting a turbine. No, we're not getting.
Not now, but you never know.
I don't think it will. I mean, it is quite windy.
It's really windy out there right now. I'll tell you.
Yeah, it really is.
It is very windy.
We are on a bit of a hill, but we've got trees around, so I don't think it's worth it.
No.
We'd be better off getting north-facing panels.
Well, yes, but all that to say that I'm pretty sure you're going to keep finding things that you want to do.
If there's some...
or update even, you know, however down the line, whether you decide that you want to change something and update something, I don't think you'll ever be done.
Well, there's always the monthly stats videos. I don't want it to be just a monthly stats video channel. I'd like to cover other topics. Every time the tariffs change, there's going to be another tariff video.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'd be interesting to know what people are interested in hearing about.
Yeah,
What do you like about the channel? What would you rather I did less of? You know, I'm sure the problem is there'll be different opinions.
Yeah.
Some people like some stuff, some people like other stuff, and that's fine.
Yes.
If there's stuff you really hate, let me know. I'm curious to know, even if you do hate it. Like these videos. Do you hate these videos? I personally really enjoy doing these videos.
I love doing these.
So
I sort of don't care.
We were talking about favourite videos.
Yes.
The ones I like are these ones where we sat on the sofa, because they're just that much more fun to record. They might not be more fun for you to watch. Maybe they are. Maybe they're more fun than me sitting in front of the computer doing a spreadsheet. They're more fun for me to record than doing a spreadsheet.
And I really enjoy it.
I don't mind doing that. I enjoy the spreadsheet videos as well, but you know, it's a different type.
I like getting to come and sit here and chat with you about, you know, what we've been up to.
We do tend to go on a bit. I mean, we're heading towards 37 minutes now.
We do. Well, I guess...
I did say it was going to be self-indulgent.
It is very self-indulgent, but there's more things to think about. Maybe solar panels, more solar panels, certainly more stuff on EVs.
Yeah.
And are you going to mention the other thing we've been sort of noodling around on?
So we're both in the situation now where we've got a good enough audience that it might be viable to start some sort of Patreon, for example. Now, I know this might be a controversial topic. It does take a lot of effort to do these videos. Maybe not these ones when we're just sat here chatting. But they do take a lot of effort. And it sort of has to be worthwhile in some respects for the amount of time I put into these. Yeah. So one thought is it worth doing a Patreon? I just don't know if can I put the extra effort in required to run a Patreon as well as the channel? I don't know. If there's something I think I can provide in addition to the channel as we're doing now, over and above that, maybe more complicated or detailed spreadsheets, for example, is that the sort of thing that people would be interested in? Please let me know. Yeah. I'm undecided. I don't want to just do it for the sake of it. If I think there's something valuable that I can contribute, that would be worth it for that core group of people who are really keen on getting more out of my expertise and knowledge, maybe there's some value there. Yeah. But I'd be interested in your opinion.
So yes, let us know what might be useful, because it will really shape whether we do that and how we do that. For example, do you want to see more opportunities? We've talked about things like a monthly live Q&A.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing we could do.
Something like that we could do.
Yeah, we could maybe make that on the Patreon, for example.
On the Patreon, or I don't know. There's probably lots of things that we could think about. Certainly things like being able to get the videos early access.
Yeah, you know, people do that sort of thing. I tend to just do my videos quite quickly. Once I've got the idea and I've done the research and I've built the spreadsheet, I tend to record, edit and upload kind of within a day usually. You know, I could move to a more planned schedule, for example, and make some of those early access for patrons. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I'm undecided, but yeah, it's the sort of thing Kat's thinking about for her own channel, and there's absolutely value in her doing that for her channel. But I just don't know if
I think so. I'm still very much debating on that, but you guys definitely don't need to hear about that one.
I would, if I had a better idea of what I could provide, I could, for example, make the spreadsheet stuff available just through Patreon. That feels kind of mean, but maybe there's...
But you have put an awful lot of work into those.
You don't believe how much time I spend on these spreadsheets.
Yeah. Maybe there's an extra layer to add to that in some way that actually does add that extra value as well. Anyway.
Yeah, like a basic version for free and then a more complicated version on the Patreon. I don't know.
So let us know, because we'd really like it to be there if we can build the community and add more support for you in whatever way we can, or just whatever's interesting to you.
One-on-one sessions, that sort of thing. Like I know Gary's doing that sort of thing, and I'm sure people get a lot of value out of that. I don't know whether that's something people would be keen on doing with me as well. I think maybe. Don't know. It's hard to know. I just don't know.
Which you can tell that we are unsure about this one, really. But perhaps you guys can
It just feels super presumptuous. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just this guy who likes noodling around with spreadsheets and stuff, and enjoys the technology.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
So
I think if we can find a way to make that really valuable.
We've witted on far too long.
We absolutely have.
So maybe we should wind this up. But I've enjoyed just having a little look back over the channel. Hopefully you've enjoyed hearing a little bit about the history. If you've not been here from the beginning, then I'm glad you decided to join us at whatever point you did join us. Hopefully you will continue to enjoy the stuff we do. We'll try and get Kat in a bit more often, because we went through a phase of where I was doing so much stuff just on my own, and I sort of missed doing these. So we've tried.
I've still not talked about toilet roll.
No, that's true. We keep like a year and a half ago we were saying, oh, would you like to hear about toilet roll? Because we got bamboo toilet roll. So maybe that's the sort of thing we should do as well. Let us know. Do you want to hear about bamboo toilet roll?
Yep. And reusable dishcloths and all sorts.
That's a possibility.
Who knows?
We can do all that. I don't know. Let us know about that too.
I think this is we said we were going to give you a little look behind the scenes. This is what it's like. Us sitting and go, oh, should we talk about this? What about that? Would people like this? Would they even be interested in this? Yeah, this is...
We've probably lost like 4/5 of the audience by now. So
so thank you if you've stuck with us. If you've been
sticking around for this long into this video, thank you very much.
We will let you good people go and do other things.
Yeah. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. We're off to have a cup of tea and a coffee. And I'll edit this up, and I don't know, I might put some of the clips from the videos we've been talking about over the top. Who knows if I can be bothered. It's quite a lot of effort, you know, editing videos.
I know.
So much effort. But
it's fun.
Honestly,
the whole thing overall is
seriously, the amount of effort, like, we put probably the least amount of effort into our videos of all of the friends we've spoken about. So Gary, insane amounts of effort he puts into his videos. Yeah. Absolute legend. Ollie.
Oh goodness. Musical numbers and everything.
So clever.
Goodness me.
Dan, I mean, puts so much research in.
Yeah.
Please go watch all of those channels. We will have some video next week. I think it's probably another Mixergy IHP video next week.
Yeah, we're pretty much you're pretty much on a weekly schedule now. It didn't.
Yeah.
It's I think you've had a little bit more time recently to do things, and it's kind of fallen into weekly videos, which is quite nice.
I know.
So come back next week. Subscribe.
Like and subscribe and all that.
Do the YouTube things.
Yeah, I never ask because it always feels so weird and stuff. But yeah, it helps a lot. I know a lot of people don't subscribe, which it just makes it easy to find the videos if you are. So just do that.
And we will, we'll get out of your way.
Bye everyone. Thanks very much for watching. I'll be back next week. Kat will be around again at some point in the future, hopefully. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Bye.